especially when you consider that just in 10 days you can see the difference here in his physique.
And frankly, I'm seeing the before and after picture, and I showed it to my girlfriend Allie and said, hey, what do you think? Is this guy natural? And she said, well, how long is that transformation? And I said, 2 weeks. He said, well, there's no way he did that natural. Coach Greg and Joe Fazer, he gets shredded in 2 weeks. Not making this shit up. Literally, he did it. So I'm gonna go over the video. How exactly did he do it? What was his percent body fat before and after? And can this information be used to apply for you?
You see, for the last couple of years on my gym journey, it's been me constantly bulking.
Okay, so Joe Fazer, he's been mostly bulking his entire lifting career. Or is he? Bulking is, as he says it here, eating more calories than you need in order to put on more weight. If you are constantly eating more calories than you need, you might actually be building muscle, but you most certainly will be adding in more body fat. So although he says he's always bulking, I don't think so. If you're always bulking and you don't get fat, what that's literally called is main gaining. That's when you're trying to put on muscle without getting fat. So if you're always bulking, what would happen is eventually you'd be 300, 400, 500, 600 pounds. So if you're always trying to build muscle but not getting fatter, that's main gaining. And when should you do that? You should do that when you're healthy and happy with your body fat percentage. Joe says at the start of his shredding diet, it's only 2 weeks that he was about 16% body fat. That is a very healthy weight to main gain at. Very healthy. Most people, somewhere between 10 and 20% is the ideal spot for them to main gain. But he was going on a trip down south and he wanted to get a little bit leaner. After all, hot weather, shirts off, why not flex the abs a little bit? Why not look at your best? So he did only a 2-week diet, and the results I've already seen in the video, amazing. He lost a significant amount of body fat, and he said he went from 82 kilograms to 80 kilograms, which is a loss about 4.5 pounds over 2 weeks. Very healthy, reasonable cutting phase, and you can see just how big of a difference it actually made.
In this video, I decided to shred for the first time in my life.
So he decided to get shredded, and that just means, as he says, lowering your fat percentage by adhering to a strict diet plan. And honestly, it doesn't actually need to be strict. You can have cheat meals, you can eat off meal plans. Not all the meals need to be something like from my cookbook, nor do they need to be chicken, broccoli, and rice. Really, you can eat what you want as long as you remember to get in enough protein, maybe 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, and eat a lot of fruit and vegetables so that you get your micro and macronutrients without forgetting about healthy fats from things like salmon, trout, flax seeds, avocado, and so on. The rest, it's really up to you. You can have your chocolate bars, your cookies, and your candies. Just don't eat it all the time.
I decided to shred for the first time in my life, also known as a mini cut.
So for the first time in his life ever, he decided to go on a mini cut. 2 weeks of shredding diet. What that really means is he decided to get a bit leaner over the period of 2 weeks. So is he actually bulking and cutting? I would argue no. He's main gaining and cutting. If you're shredded and eat in a calorie surplus, you're going to gain fat, but eventually, if you come to a plateau and you maintain that fat, you're no longer bulking. Just like any person that ends a cut after a bodybuilding competition, photo shoot, going down south, diet for a wedding, after the diet's over, if you're too lean to maintain that, you're too lean for your own good, you don't feel great, of course, you need to then bulk up. So I'm not against bulking. I'm only against bulking if you're already at a healthy weight or you're already fat. You don't bulk up if you're already healthy or already fat. Bulking is for people who are too lean, underweight, or just need to add more calories to have a sustainable diet.
2 weeks ago, me and my friend Nathaniel Messiah booked a spontaneous trip to Ibiza, and I thought this was the perfect opportunity to give this mini cut a go.
So his starting weight, 82 kilograms, 180 pounds, probably around 16% body fat based on his own assessment. I would say slightly leaner than that, but looking great. Wanted to get as lean as possible in 2 weeks in order to look good in Ibiza. Perfectly reasonable. Nothing wrong with doing this whatsoever.
First drastic change I made was I heavily increased my cardio, which if you know me, cardio is like my kryptonite.
Well, that's really too bad. It's sad to see that people don't actually enjoy cardio, being someone like myself who loves doing cardio. But without a doubt, adding in this extra cardio, it's certainly going to speed up his weight loss because calories in, calories out. If you increase the out portion, you will get leaner faster than if you don't add the cardio.
As the days went on, I was absolutely smashing the cardio, I was smashing the diet, I was super motivated to get shredded. And by just day 3, I was already noticing changes.
And in 3 days, you can visually see the difference. When you first go on a cutting diet, you're going to lose a lot of water weight, especially because your muscle glycogen stores are diminished. Because of that, you're going to see a lot more definition. You're not actually losing a significant amount of body fat, but the scale weight is going down and you're losing water weight, which is allowing you to see more of the muscle underneath the skin. As you continue on in the diet, weight loss dramatically slows because glycogen stores are already diminished. At that point, you hope you're only losing body fat and not muscle mass. If you diet too hard, however, you're in too great of a calorie deficit or you throw in too much cardio, you're more likely going to start losing muscle.
The thing is, as a guy with such a small appetite and such a high metabolism, doing stuff like shredding, I found so easy.
The first week of a diet should be easy. If it's not, you need to reevaluate your diet and probably add in more calories. Maybe add in more low-calorie dense foods like in my cookbook. Because trust me, if you're hungry on week 1 on your diet, what's going to be like in week 2, week 3, week 12? It is only going to get worse. So please, start easy. Small changes that you can do for the rest of your life. Now, granted, he's only cutting for 2 weeks, and maybe you have a goal to be leaner, and then you're going to bulk back up after. That's fine, but even still, if you cut too quickly, after the diet's over, after you get back from vacation, you're going to find it even harder to stick to your diet. Because when you go without for too long, your body then sends more signals to eat more, and you can often gain more weight than you lost in the first place. This is what's known as yo-yo dieting. Yo-yo dieting, it's done by most people. 95% of people who lose weight on a diet, they regain this weight, and oftentimes they regain even more than last time. Not only that, if you cut weight too quickly, you're going to lose muscle mass and your metabolism will slow down. Why? Because your NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, it's decreased. Your body's trying to conserve calories because it recognizes you're in a calorie deficit, and it's a survival mechanism. So please, lose weight very slow and try to stay within striking distance of the physique you want when you go on vacation. Joe Frazier, he looks amazing. He was within striking distance of the physique he wanted to present when on vacation down south.
By the halfway point at day 7, this was how my physique was looking. As you can see, there's definitely a visible difference between the 2 photos.
So after 1 week of dieting, he made noticeable improvements. He looked better, but he wasn't quite satisfied. He wanted to pick up the pace. So my advice, always start slow. You can always make it harder than last time. Just like you need to progressive overload in the gym, you add more weights, make it harder over time. The same thing applies when you diet. You start with the smallest calorie deficit that makes changes. You don't cut 2,000 calories a day and add 10 hours cardio to your diet on week 1. You do a little bit, enough to make a change, and after week 1, you can then reassess and say, am I losing enough? Do I need to cut more calories? Do I need to add more cardio? He decided, yes, I'm going to add more cardio and lose weight faster because I'm going down south in 1 week. If he had an entire month to diet, he wouldn't have to add more cardio. He could lose weight very slowly and it would be much easier. But you can see he's highly motivated, excited. He has a fast metabolism to begin with. So for him, losing weight pretty easy, and he was highly motivated to do so.
So for the final week, I wanted to go so much harder. I increased the amount of cardio I did. In addition to that, I also started gradually lowering my calories.
So he gradually cut out a few more calories and increased his steps from 6,000 to 8,000. Frankly, 7,000 steps a day is about what the average person does, which isn't really that much. So to go from 6,000 steps to 8,000, it's still not a lot of cardio. So this to me is not unreasonable. I literally think he could do this for a long period of time and not lose motivation. It doesn't seem like he's dieting too strictly, and he went over 2 weeks from 82 kilograms to 80. 1 kilogram weight loss a week. Perfectly reasonable for someone doing a mini cut for 2 weeks to look good on a beach in Ibiza.
As I said, I only had 2 weeks to do this, so it was definitely a challenge.
I'm really happy with the transformation.
And absolutely, I would be happy as well. He looks amazing. In 2 weeks, I see significant changes that occurred. This is very impressive, and it goes to show if you just stick to a diet, even in 2 weeks, you can make major changes. And it also goes to show if you want to look good after a 2-week diet, you should look good before the diet starts. If Joe Frazier were 100 kilograms and not 82 at the start of his diet, it would take him many months to get in shape. So the key is don't bulk up so much that you need to go on a crash diet to get in shape. 2 weeks is all it took for Joe Fazer because he's been eating properly, training properly in the off season. 2 weeks, who can't handle a 2-week diet? We all can, I do hope. But the key is don't get fat in the off season.
We ran with an upper-lower training split that ensured we focused on his weak points and considered his long-term goal.
I find it interesting that he hired a coach for 2 weeks to get shredded for Ibiza, and he's talking about his long-term goals. To me, 2 weeks is a very short-term goal. But maybe he's coaching him for the long term, so I can't really comment. It wouldn't be fair to me. Maybe he's his long-term coach, but 2 weeks is a short-term goal, at least in my eyes.
Nothing fancy was done. We gave him something that he was able to be accountable to and enjoy doing on a day-to-day basis.
Also important, which the coach points out, it had to be something that was enjoyable on a day-to-day basis. If you hate what you're doing, if you don't like it, you might have the willpower to do it for a few weeks, but will you in fact stick to that for the rest of your life? You absolutely won't. Eventually, no matter how much willpower you have, it'll eventually run out. Don't want you to run out of willpower because you shouldn't need it in the first place. The key is to find something you like that you will do that doesn't take willpower. If you hate doing cardio, find something that makes you move that you actually like. If you don't like running on a treadmill, don't run on the treadmill. Walk outside. Go for a bike ride. Find something else that you can do that you enjoy, and you will stick to that for the rest of your life.
Overall, I think Joe did really, really well, especially when you consider that just in 10 days you can see the difference here in his physique.
And frankly, I'm seeing the before and after picture, and I showed it to my girlfriend, Allie, and said, hey, what do you think? Is this guy natural? And she said, well, how long is that transformation? And I said, 2 weeks. He said, well, there's no way he did that natural. But here's the facts. Depending on lighting, the camera angle, and how you're posing, you can make a picture look way worse or way better. When I see this before and after transformation, this looks like many months of changes. I know he did it in 2 weeks, and I don't think he used PDs to do this. But if you look at the picture from the left to the right, there is mind-blowing changes that occurred. I do think that his starting point was leaner than 16% and his end point was leaner than 14%, as he suggested. He's not an expert. Maybe it was 14% and ended at 12, but that doesn't really matter. What matters here is the photo on the left, not very flattering. The photo on the right probably had a decent pump and much more flattering. And this is more than lean enough to be impressive. You don't need to be 6, 7, 8% body fat and a Gymshark athlete to look good. This looks more than good. This is highly impressive. So props to Joe for looking amazing both off season and on his trip, doing a 2-week cut and presenting the information to us so that we can learn from what he's doing. Ending it here. GregDoucette.com for coaching. Greg Doucette IB Pro. Please watch one of the bloops. Don't forget, I have harder than last time supplements. HCLTsubs.com. Also, be sure to click the link in the description if you want to go to my website and to become an affiliate and help promote the brand HCLT Subs. You'll get paid for doing this, so please join the team. We want everyone using the best supplements on the market. And until next time, I am out.